I used to think silence was safer than words, that if I just kept my feelings tucked away, nothing could break. But silence, true silence, isn't peaceful. It's lonely, especially between a father and daughter. For years, my dad and I lived like shadows, brushing past each other. We shared the same house, the same roof, the same ache, but never the same words. After Mom passed, I thought the sorrow would bring us closer. It didn't. It only pulled us further into our separate grief, like two ships drifting in the same storm, just passing each other in the dark. But something shifted one soft spring morning. It wasn't planned. I just looked up from my tea and asked, "Dad, do you want to get away this weekend?" There was a pause, just long enough to settle heavy between us. Then he nodded.
"Sure," he said.
Just that. But something unspoken stirred between us in that moment. We didn't pick anywhere meaningful, not on purpose anyway, just a quiet coastal town, somewhere the sea might speak for us. We each packed one small bag. No plans, no expectations. Just the quiet hope that maybe the wind and waves would carry us somewhere lighter. The drive there was mostly silent. I watched sunlight slip through the trees. Dad made soft comments about the sky, the hills. I answered with small nods, a few half smiles. It wasn't much, but it was more than before. And then we reached the edge of that beach town. It felt like walking into a forgotten dream. The dunes stretched open like arms, and the ocean shimmered like it had something to say. The air smelled of salt and something faintly sweet, maybe wildflowers. For the first time in so long, my chest didn't feel so tight. We walked down to the sand without saying a word. The breeze touched my face like an old lullaby. I turned toward Dad, expecting the same stillness, but something had shifted. His eyes looked calmer, a soft smile resting there, the kind I hadn't seen in years. We didn't speak. We didn't have to. We stood side by side, letting the waves come and go. And somehow, that silence didn't hurt. That afternoon we walked the shoreline together, shoes in our hands, pants rolled up, like when I was little. The waves chased our ankles. Dad pointed out bits of driftwood, funny-looking shells. I laughed at one of his old stories, really laughed. I hadn't done that in what felt like forever. And just like that, memories came up with the tide. Mom's voice calling from the porch. Dad lifting me onto his shoulders by a beach bonfire. My small fingers clinging to his shirt. Sand between my toes and the sun dipping low. The sky turned golden and soft, like a painting only we were allowed to see. We found a weathered old log and sat down. The sea whispered around us. The sky burned with color. Then he reached for my hand. That small, simple touch unraveled me. His hand, aged and strong, still felt the same. It was the same hand that helped me cross busy streets. That handed me popcorn at summer fairs. That steadied me on a bike. That caught me when I fell. I squeezed his fingers, not with words, just with feeling. That night we built a fire on the beach. The flames popped and cracked like laughter. We roasted marshmallows, let the sparks float into the night like tiny stars. I told him about work, about doubts, about dreams I'd never spoken aloud before. He listened, not just with his ears, but with something deeper. And then, surprisingly, he shared too. About his younger days, mistakes, regrets. Things I never thought he'd speak of. The fire lit our faces. But something warmer filled the space between us. The next morning I woke early. The sky was a soft wash of peach and pale blue. The world still quiet with morning. Dad was already up, sitting near the rocks, wrapped in a blanket, eyes on the sea like it was telling him old secrets. I sat beside him. We didn't say a thing. We just watched the sun rise. It felt like a promise. Later we wandered through the town's small market, bright with color and scent. Lavender, herbs, glass that sparkled like waterlight. I bought a necklace made from sea glass. When I asked him what he thought, he looked at me and said, "It's beautiful, just like you." He didn't say things like that often, but in that moment it felt true. It reminded me of who he used to be, the father who made me believe the sun rose just to see me smile. That afternoon we sat on a bench overlooking the harbor. I don't know where the courage came from, but I whispered, "I missed you. I missed us." He turned toward me, his eyes full. "I missed you too, Lena. And I'm sorry for all the times I didn't know how to be there." He reached for my hand again. And we just sat there, the soft light pouring over us, silent, but not broken anymore. And then something unexpected. That evening on the beach, under a sky painted with lavender and blush, he reached into his coat and pulled out a small notebook. Worn edges, hand-stitched. Inside was a letter, folded carefully. He handed it to me a little shy. His handwriting was steady, like he meant every word. "My dearest Lena, from the moment you held my hand as a child to the woman you are now, I've watched you with awe. Your laughter, your strength, your heart, they've always been the best part of my life. I haven't always known how to say it, but please know this. I'm proud of you.
So deeply proud."
Words will never be enough. I couldn't stop the tears. The page blurred before I reached the end. "This means everything," I said. He didn't answer right away, just met my eyes, soft and steady. "You don't have to say anything," he whispered. "I just wanted you to know." That night, rain tapped on the windows of the little cabin. We curled up by the fire, wrapped in thick blankets. We talked. We laughed. Not like strangers. Not like ghosts. But like family again. And for the first time in years, I felt something close to peace. Not because everything was perfect, but because we had found each other again. Because we had stopped drifting. The next morning, on the way home, the world slid past in shades of green and gold. I looked at him through the rearview mirror. He caught my gaze and smiled.
"Thank you," he said.
I smiled back. "Thank you for coming with me." And as the road stretched ahead like a ribbon of light, I knew something had begun. Something we wouldn't let slip away again. We weren't just father and daughter. We were two hearts learning how to love all over again.